What's the matter?
I hit my arm on the table.
Oh, honey, your bad arm?
Yeah, it's okay, honey.
You sure? Do we ever finish our dance before we passed out like that?
Yeah, we did.
Good. Oh, man. I've got pains and muscles I never even knew I had. How long we been asleep?
An hour.
What? Oh, honey, look, why don't you go and take that cot back there and just lay down for a little bit, huh? That way you'll be all rested up by the time Dooley comes back with our car.
You know what I think we should do? I think we should check into a hotel or something before we go on to Silver Spur, because I don't want to be so tired that I can't identify the guy who took the Kachina doll.
That might not be such a bad idea, honey, you know?
I thought you put the clothes sign up.
Maybe somebody who's real hungry. Don't get up, I'll get it. Oh, ow, ow, ow. Oh.
Yeah. Afternoon. I'm Davy Crockett.
Sure you are. Look, maybe you didn't see the sign on the door. We're closed today.
Well, I'm not here for coffee and donuts. I'm here to perform the marriage ceremony for you and your lovely lady.
Well, speak of the devil. I just left a message on your machine. Hello, Miss Parsons.
Mr. Buchanan?
I wasn't aware that you were back in Landview.
Well, as you may know, I'm attending a social workers seminar in Philadelphia this week.
I didn't know that.
Oh. Well, in any case, I can't keep my mind on the meetings. I've been thinking about our conversation last week. Since Niki Smith was my very first case, and I realize how important finding her daughter must be to her, I want to do everything I can to help.
Well, have you remembered something that might help us?
For what it's worth, I've remembered the name of Niki's lover. Yeah?
Hi. I know I'm 5 minutes early. I can wait in the reception area if you want. We had an appointment today, remember? Oh, don't tell me you've changed your mind.
No, of course not. I'm sorry. I've been very involved with catching up on things. I haven't really looked at my appointment calendar at all. Well, come in, have a seat. Are you all right, Christine?
I think I will be once my heart gets back in its right place. Kind of dropped to my toes when I thought you were going to brush me off. But if you'll just give me 5 minutes, could be the most important 5 minutes of my life.
Think of Christine's excitement when she discovers that the beautiful and charming Viki Buchanan is her mother. How could she possibly hate you?
She will hate me for having lied to her. Now, there's no point in arguing.
There is no argument, Leo. I only want what's best for you and Christine.
I know what's best for me and Christine, and that is to leave Landview at once. Look, I want to thank you for all the help that you've given me, but we have to leave. It's the only way.
What was her lover's name?
Leonard Cromwell.
You're sure of that?
Absolutely. Except Niki referred to him as Leo.
She mentioned him.
Oh, that's right. Well, I remember it well now. After she'd been examined by the doctor, and he'd confirmed that she was pregnant, she was extremely upset. Well, I suggested we go for a walk in the park. I tried to accentuate the positive, how much happiness and joy a child would bring into her life, that sort of thing.
What was her response?
She was excited, and yet she was worried. She was afraid Leo wouldn't be very happy about the baby. But that's about all I can remember her saying.
Well, what about conversations you had with her after that?
Well, I only saw her once. I'd collected some literature on prenatal care, which I gave her.
And did she return to the doctor?
Not the one she'd been assigned to. At least, if she did, he failed to notify me.
Let's get back to Leo. Do you remember anything else in his conversation with you?
I seem to remember Leo asking if she was indeed pregnant, and if there were any indications that the pregnancy would be other than normal.
So obviously she told him about the baby.
I assume they discussed it.
Why did he call you? Was he saying that he didn't believe her?
I have no idea. I've racked my brain trying to remember the whole conversation, but it was so long ago. I'm sorry.
Did you have any conversations with other friends of hers?
I'm fairly sure I didn't, but I can't swear to it.
Did you ever meet this Mr. Cromwell, or did you just talk to him on the phone?
We only talked on the phone, and just that one time, as I recall. I wish there were more I could tell you, but I'm afraid that's it.
Well, that's okay. We understand. It's not easy to remember details of a conversation that took place that long ago, but you did your best, and we thank you.
I just hope it may be helpful in your search for Niki's daughter.
So do I. Thanks for your concern.
If I happen to think of anything else, I'll give you a call.
If you can't reach Clint, leave word at my service, okay?
I will, yes.
And thanks again for your time and effort.
You're welcome. I hope if you see Niki, you'll give her my best.
You say that you love your daughter and that you are doing all of this for her. You are a liar. You're only trying to protect yourself.
Yes, I know. I have no illusions about myself. But my daughter is the one precious thing in my life, and I'm not about to risk losing her.
Losing her to a mother's love? How can love harm your daughter?
How do you know how Viki Buchanan is going to react, or Christine? You stand there playing God with people's lives and expect everyone to neatly fall into place, but people have guts and emotions, Michael. Christine will hate me for having lied to her, and she'll probably hate her mother for having abandoned her. Now, that hatred could ruin Christine's life, and I cannot take that risk.
I cannot accept that, Leo. If you leave and deny Christine her mother, you will be ruining her life.
Would you like some coffee or some tea?
No, thanks. I'd spill it on you, and that would be the end of my life for sure.
Why would that be the end of your life?
Well, you'd hate me. You'd throw me out. You'd much less hire me as a photographer for the banner.
Oh, and that's what's going to change the course of your entire life, is it?
Yes, ma'am. And if you'll give me a chance to prove myself, I'm gonna make you proud of me. I am a fearless photographer. I don't mind the hours. I'll take all the hours the other photographers don't want. And if they don't want an assignment because they think it's not exciting, I will make it exciting for your readers. And if you give me a good assignment...
Stop. Take a deep breath before you pass out from lack of oxygen, please.
I just want to get everything in that I want to say.
Slow down. I'm not going anywhere.
Okay. Maybe I better let my pictures do the talking for me.
Good idea.
What's wrong? Is that the wrong picture to start off with?
No. No, it's stunning. When were these taken?
Last year in Peru.
My goodness. You have an extraordinary sensitivity and maturity for someone your age. How old are you?
I'm 25, but I've been on my own for a long time, and that's not a complaint. Actually, I'm very fortunate for the way things worked out for me.
What do you mean?
By not having a mother, and my father's not a 9-to-5 kind of guy. Otherwise, I don't think I would have appreciated all the adventures he took me on. I'd probably be into nail polish and fashion design and climbing the corporate ladder like the other kids I went to school with.
Did your mother and father divorce when you were young?
No, my mother died when I was a baby, so all I know about her is what my dad's told me.
I'm sorry.
Oh, it's okay. You can't miss what you never had.
You know, Christine, so far I've looked at 6 pictures. 3 of them are about mothers and children.
I worked with a photographer in London who used to believe that the pictures we take tell as much about the photographer as they do with the subject. I guess he was right.
I've learned something else from looking at your photographs. You're not nearly as tough as you'd like people to believe, are you?
Would you just like go door to door around the countryside, knocking on people's doors, asking if you can marry them?
Well, maybe the door I've knocked on is the wrong one. Are you Mr. Dooley Hanson?
No. Well, this is his place, but he's not here right now.
Well, he called up yesterday and asked if I'd come over here and marry him to his longtime sweetheart, Miss Crystal Bell. Did he have a change of heart since yesterday?
Oh, well, you see, he and Crystal had some important business they had to take care of in town.
Well, he was mighty anxious to tie the knot.
Yeah, well, did he happen to mention to you why he was so anxious?
He said Miss Crystal was in a family way, and he wanted the baby to be born into a union blessed by the Lord.
Yeah, well, I tell you, that child didn't seem to care about how it was born because she was born early this morning. As a matter of fact, they didn't even have time to go to the hospital. Tina delivered her.
Well, Cord and Dooley helped. I mean, Crystal did all the work, really.
Well, are Miss Crystal and her little one okay?
Oh, they're great. They're at the hospital now.
Well, I guess I better get over to the hospital. They're going to need a preacher to bless their union more than ever now.
Yeah.
I'll pray that they're as happy as you two seem to be.
I'm afraid we're not married.
You're not? Well, I have a real eye for true love, and if ever there was a couple in love, it's the two of you. As long as I'm here and I have the good book with me, why don't I marry you?
You are the most selfish man I have ever met. Either you drop your daughter at a neighbor's and traipse off to Egypt or Peru, chasing after your stupid dreams, or you drag her with you around the world, living on $2 a day, waiting for your ship to come in. I know your whole sad story, Leo. You haven't an ounce of compassion for your daughter.
You're dead wrong. Christine loved those expeditions. They were a great adventure for her.
All you want is your name in the history books. Now, you listen to me. I have spent years and a small fortune on this venture. Everything has gone rather smoothly so far, and I expect it to continue that way.
Not at my daughter's expense.
If you leave, it will be at your daughter's expense. Instead of enjoying the love and luxury Viki Buchanan will surely lavish on her, she will be spending weekends for the next 15 years visiting you in prison.
The fraud charges against me were dropped.
Because I arranged for them to be dropped. I can just as easily tell the judge that I made a terrible mistake. Shall I call him right now?
Being cooped up in prison would kill me, and seeing me there would kill Christine.
It's your decision, Leo. You can give Viki and Christine the happiness they deserve, or you can watch the smile in your daughter's eyes turn to pain and horror when she discovers that her beloved father is a fraud. You profess to love your daughter, Leo. Why don't you prove it?
All right. All right. You win.
No. We win. Especially you. Keep in touch.
Well, at least we know the name of the baby's father.
Yes?
Leo Cromwell.
Still, I want to do some checking around.
Why? You heard Miss Parsons.
I know it. And I'm sure she means well, Clint, but let's face it, 25 years is a long time to remember the details of a conversation with someone you hardly even knew.
Oh, really? I remember a conversation I had back in the 7th grade with a kid named Donnie Taylor. Now, come on. That woman didn't pull this stuff out of thin air. She said she has been thinking about Niki Smith ever since we had a conversation last week. And everything she said only confirms Leo Cromwell's actions up to now.
Maybe.
John, what do you mean, maybe? Now, he freaked out when he saw Viki. Then he goes down and goes to the microfilm library in the Banner and starts looking up things on Niki Smith. He lived in New York City the same time Niki lived there. Her social worker said that Niki's lover was named Leonard Cromwell, whom Niki referred to as Leo. Now, as plain as the nose on your face. Come on, Christine Cromwell is Viki's daughter.
Clint, you confronted Leo, right? Not only did he deny it, he said you were crazy.
I know what the man said, but you tell me, why would he walk away from searching for the Benjamin Franklin's love letters, huh? A chance to make history for himself. Why would he do that? Why, when a man has been a loser all his life, would he throw away a chance to all of a sudden be a winner? I'll tell you why. He's afraid that his daughter is going to find out who her real mother is.
Well, maybe Rafe will have some answers for us.
No, the only person who's got the right answers is Leo. All I got to do is throw him the right questions.
Crockett says I have real good instincts about two things, horses and people. My instinct for horses put me through Bible college, and my instinct for people has made me a pretty good passer to my flock, if the good Lord will forgive my patting myself on the back just this once. My instinct tells me you two belong together.
Well, once upon a time, we were married. so I guess your instincts are still good.
Yeah, but we're divorced now.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if you're church-going folks or not, but the good book says many waters cannot quench love, nor can the floods drown it.
Yeah, well, we still care a great deal about one another because, well, we've got the best reason of all, a beautiful little boy. But we're just friends now, and didn't work out as being husband and wife. We tried that and it just failed, I guess.
Well, a smart man learns more from his failures than his success. That is, if he's willing to learn and he's not afraid to follow his heart. I best be getting to the hospital. It was a pleasure to make your acquaintance.
Oh, yes, sir. You too. When you see Dooley, say hello and say we're keeping an eye out on his place for him.
I will. And I'd keep an eye to your future, too, if I was you. You and this lady are meant for each other.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Well, he's some character, isn't he?
Yeah. Well, maybe he's right, Cord. Were we meant to be together?
Hello, Michael.
What are you doing here?
I heard you were renovating the Saunders mansion. I thought I'd come and take a look. Give you my opinion.
Gee, thanks. But I've had all the opinions I need.
It's free of charge. What have you got to lose?
Nothing is free of charge, Gabrielle.
Well, if you don't mind the question, don't you think this is a bit much for a wife you don't even love? A wife that's only going to be in Landview for 2, 3 weeks out of the year, maybe?
How I spend my money is no concern of yours. What I would like to know is why you couldn't ring the doorbell and wait to be invited in, as I'm sure you were taught to do.
Let's just say I took the wrong path, ended up in the solarium. The doors were open.
You've taken a couple of wrong paths lately, haven't you?
That may be. But it's a good thing those doors were open, because if they hadn't been, I would have had to stay outside freezing cold while you and your guest finished your conversation, as I was taught to do.
How long have you been standing out there?
Long enough.
Long enough to eavesdrop on my private business?
It seems that your business matter is no longer private.
Now, how did you get this shot?
I met this man in Paris who had a small plane, and he took me up in it for a couple of hours.
Oh, I see. Were you strapped to the wings, or were you leaning out the door?
I was leaning out the door. I had a safety belt on. It was as safe as standing on the ground. That one was taken in Belize, and the other was taken in New York.
Very interesting juxtaposition, isn't it? A poor South American family and a group of debutantes and their escorts in New York City.
Look at the faces. The people from Belize have the same dignity as the socialites. Actually more, considering the hardships they endure.
Dignity, that seems to be a theme that runs through this whole book. The worker of the steel mill and the woman hanging out the wash.
That's his wife. And actually, I think that's what life's all about, dignity. I learned that from my father. He firmly believes in the family man and that it's our responsibility to treat everyone equally, no matter what their circumstances happen to be.
Well, he sounds like rather an extraordinary person.
He's a dreamer. Some people think he's kind of flaky, but the thing is, he hasn't lost his innocence. He's still a child. And he believes that anything is possible as long as you're right by people.
You are a very amazing young woman.
I don't think I'm all that amazing, but thanks.
How much have you seen of Landview? Have you had enough time to roam around with your photographic eye?
Yeah, I think I've about covered it.
Good. What strikes you most about our fair city?
The homeless. I expect to see it in a big city, but here, breaks my heart.
How would you like to do something for them?
Like work in a soup kitchen or something?
No, like do a photo essay on them for the banner. I'd like to hire you on a freelance basis. If your photographs are as good as these indicate you are, it could lead to a permanent position at the banner if you're interested. Now, is that a yes?
Yes. Yes, thank you. Thanks.
Well, hello again, Mr. Cromwell.
There's a law against breaking and entering.
I didn't break in. I paid my way in. Simple exchange of American currency for an opportunity to give an estimate on any loose tile you might have in the bathroom. Same sort of cheap con job I'm sure you used 100 times.
Well, if you've checked the tiles, will you please leave?
Not until we get something straight about your relationship with Niki Smith.
There is nothing to discuss. I never met the woman. I'm sick and tired of you harassing me.
I'm real sorry that you see this as harassment.
I can't help you, Mr. Buchanan.
Is Christine Niki's daughter?
Get out! I will not have you hurting my daughter or anyone else.
You know, I came for the truth. And I'm not about to stop looking until I find it. I got an idea that if I keep on searching, I might turn up a few other things that you might not want your daughter to know about you. But that's up to you.
Wait. The hell with it. I'll tell you everything.
Just answer that one question.
Yes. Christine is Niki Smith's daughter. We don't always find the truth to our liking, Mr. Buchanan, but there's not very much we can do about it.
Why'd you come to Landview? What do you want with my wife?
My research into Ben Franklin's papers led me here.
You knew that Viki and I owned that cabin in the mountains.
Yes, but I had no idea that there was any connection between your wife and Niki Smith. When I met Niki in New York in 1963, she told me she was from Philadelphia and that her parents were deceased. I never questioned her background too deeply. When I saw your wife in the Banner office, I couldn't believe my eyes. I know the theory that everyone has a twin somewhere in the world, and I assumed that your wife was proof of that theory.
So you checked out Viki's past just to make sure?
That's right.
And when you discovered that Niki was my wife's alter ego, you figured maybe there was something in it for you. I mean, after all, my wife is a very wealthy woman, and you are a two-bit con man.
I may be a two-bit con man, Mr. Buchanan, but I can assure you that my curiosity about your wife had nothing to do with money. A man never forgets his first love. And seeing your wife was a very confusing experience for me. All the feelings that I had for her came rushing back. But they were feelings that I shared with someone she can't remember. Now, I don't know how to deal with that, and I'm damn sure that Viki doesn't know how to deal with it either. That is why I'm taking my daughter and leaving town.
No, you can't leave without Viki knowing the truth.
Why drag up a past that she can't even remember?
Because Christine is her daughter, and she has a right to know it. Just as Christine has a right to know her real mother.
Christine has managed very well all these years with just me to look after her.
Damn it, man, they've had the past 25 years stolen from them. The least you can do is give them a future. What are you afraid of? Losing her?
Of course I am. How can she ever forgive me for having lied to her?
Could she forgive you for not telling her the truth now that you know it? Viki is not about to give up her search, I guarantee you that. And one of these days she will uncover the truth.
All right. But I must insist on one favor. You keep this between us for now. This news is going to turn Christine's life upside down, and I want to break it to her as gently as I know how.
Now, you're asking me to keep my wife in the dark.
Just for 24 hours. You gave me a choice. Now I'm giving you one. Now you either let me do this my own way, or I will take Christine out of the country, and Viki will never see her again.
That sounds like a threat.
It's the only way I can protect my daughter. You take it or you leave it.
All right. 24 hours. But the clock starts now.
You have the audacity of a cobra.
Only when I'm threatened. And those legal papers you had delivered to me by one of your lawyers, they definitely threaten my future.
You backed yourself into that corner by swindling Delilah.
Those were all my designs. Delilah couldn't care less about the business, and she certainly didn't contribute anything to that fashion show.
If you win in court and the judge removes the injunction against your company, I will consider reinvesting.
And if you take your investment out of my company, I haven't got a hope in hell of getting that place started up again.
That's the breaks, Gabrielle. If you can't cover your losses, perhaps you shouldn't be playing poker with the big boys. Now say goodbye.
Not until we play this hand, Michael. And it looks as though I have a royal flush. You see, I know that you are paying Leo Cromwell to get involved with Viki Buchanan. I also know you threatened him with jail if he didn't cooperate. I also know you've been working on this plan for some years, so the stakes must be extremely high. But you're only halfway to your goal. Now, if some little mishap should come along and destroy everything you've worked so hard for, just like you pulling your money out of my company would destroy everything I've worked so hard for, do I need to go on?
Be careful, Gabrielle.
Why?
What do you want?
I want to play with the big boys. And I know I can be a great help to you.
Yeah. You have yet to prove that.
You haven't given me a chance to prove my loyalty. Trust me. Trust me with the truth. Tell me why Viki Buchanan is so important to you.
Cord, I'm sorry.
About what?
Putting you on the spot. I promised I wasn't going to do that anymore, and I intend to keep my promise.
Tina, come on. All you did was ask the question that the preacher brought up in the first place. I'm just sorry that I don't have an answer for you.
Well, I don't know. If he saw a love between us, that's fine with me. That makes me happy, because that means that's what CJ's going to see as he grows up, and we have to remember that he's the important thing here.
Of course he is. But what about us?
Well, maybe you're right in what you said, that we're just best off being, you know, good friends. I mean, look, we've had a lot of wonderful times, and we have a beautiful little son. I mean, that's a lot more than a lot of people have.
That's right. And we know that there are a lot of things that have gone down between us that caused a lot of pain.
Well, yeah, but a lot of that's my fault. I mean, I lied to you, and I kept things from you, but I hope you know that I never meant to hurt you. I'd never do that, and I know it's going to take me a little time to earn your trust. But that's all right. If it takes time, that's fine. I'll be patient, and in the meantime, I will be the best possible mother to CJ.
I never had any doubts about that. Listen, wouldn't it be nice if we could get one of those magic erasers? Just wipe away all the pain we've ever felt.
Yeah, if you find any of those, tell me where you get them. I could buy like maybe 3 or 4 dozen.
Well, you know, wouldn't it be nice if we could just meet for the first time today? I mean, right here in this little desert cafe.
Well, I think that's kind of impossible without one of those magic erasers.
Well, I don't know about that. Maybe you could just walk in the door right now and pretend like you just walked out of the desert.
That wouldn't be hard to do, considering the way I look right now. I probably look like I spent the whole day out in the desert. So watch this.
Oh, okay. Well, like this. 1, Hi.
What you staring at?
Well, as I recall, first time I laid eyes on you in El Paso, all I could do was stare.
Uh-oh, does that mean we're back on the same old track?
No, because my first impulse in El Paso was to hold you in my arms and kiss you.
And you don't want to do that now?
Oh, no. I mean, you heard what the pastor said. He said you can't learn unless you learn from your mistakes, right?
You should try Monte Carlo. You would be a millionaire in no time.
I'm much more interested in these steaks.
You know, I am sure that many people have thought of blackmailing me, but you are actually the first one to try it.
Oh, that must win me some points.
We shall see, Gabrielle.
I have to gamble, Michael. I don't have a choice. Besides, it's much more beneficial for me to be on your side than against you. That's why I didn't tell Viki about the audio tape.
You're not doing this just for a dress design business. You're about to up the ante, aren't you?
When I was a little girl, I dreamed about being the queen of the castle. I just could never find the right castle.
You want this place. And me with it, I suppose.
You men, you're all such egotists. You really do believe that women just lie around waiting to marry you. I'm not interested in marriage. I don't have the time. But when I do, I'll be sure to let you know.
Then just what castle are you lusting after?
The Holden Towers. You have everything in position. You might have to make a few changes. But it can't be that difficult to take the hotel away from Max.
So you're after revenge.
In spades.
You realize, of course, that his whole life is tied up in that hotel?
Precisely why I want it.
You know, for a tiny woman, you are a real powerhouse.
I know. Do we have a deal?
We do. As of this moment, we begin a new partnership.
Hi.
Hi. Did you get the note I sent round about Christine?
Christine Cromwell?
Yes. Yes, she came by with her portfolio earlier. She's a very promising talent. I gave her an assignment.
She's a reporter?
No, she's a photographer. She's going to do the essay on the homeless for us. Do you know who she reminds me of?
No, who?
Dorothea Lange. She has the same sensitivity, the same feeling and concern for others that marked Lange's work. I kept two of her pictures to show them to you. Do you like them?
They're wonderful.
You know, darling, when I was looking at the pictures, I kept thinking there, but for the grace of God go I. It could very well have happened to Niki Smith, you know. She could have ended up just like those people. Homeless and desperate, and all alone. But instead, I live in a magnificent house on a beautiful estate. I have wonderful children. And I have a husband that I love so very, very much. Except he has a little bit of trouble being open with me.
Viki.
Darling, I believe that I had every right to be angry with you before, but I had no right to storm out on you, and I'm terribly sorry for that. I should have stayed. We should have talked and resolved it. Instead, I've had an absolutely miserable day, except for a few cheerful moments with Christine. And I don't ever want that to happen again.
You have to understand that I was doing it to protect you.
Honey, protect Kevin and Joey and Jessica. They need it. I don't. Look, I can deal with whatever we're going to find out about my daughter. What I can't deal with is you keeping me in the dark because you're afraid to trust my strength. Please, please promise me that from now on you'll tell me everything.
I'll do my damnedest.
Thank you. We have so much love to share. I just pray to God when we do find my daughter, she'll be willing to share it with us.
Well, it's going to be up to her.
I know. But I think somehow we'll make it work.
Well, why don't we get out of here? You about ready to go home?
No, not quite. I have a few little things to finish up, but you go ahead. I won't be long.
Okay. I'll be waiting.
May not be like discovering King Tut's tomb or the dead seagulls or Ben Franklin's papers, but it's close. You know, I paid the rent for the end of the month. Why are our bags packed?
We're leaving here right now.
Action, liquid, vanish, 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 clean so good. Hold me low, hold me high, make me thrill.
You awake?
Hey, you two.
Oh, hey.
Now, I gave out a whole box of these at the hospital, but I saved 2 for the 2 people that helped bring my baby girl in the world.
She would have come into the world whether or not we were here, Dooley.
Yeah, but not in such fine fashion.
How they doing? How are your girls?
Good. A #1 super shape.
Good, good.
You might be interested to know what name we have given baby girl Hanson's.
Well, what?
Tina.
You ready
For our new proud friend, Tina Roberts.
You named her after me?
You don't mind, do you, ma'am?
Oh, I'm honored, Dooley. Thank you.
Look at here, look at here.
I'm just busting up with good joy. Preacher married Crystal and I.
Oh, congratulations. You're going to be the happiest couple in all of Arizona.
Right.
Yeah, well, one of the 2. Okay, why don't you take a nip out of your cigars? I'm going to fix up a Dooley Hanson super special Tex-Mex dinner.
Yeah, Dooley, I think I'll kind of save mine for later, if you don't mind.
It's not real tea, it's just bubblegum. But that's all right, you know, it won't spoil your appetite.
Well, look, actually, I think we're going to need to take a pass on that dinner because we're kind of in a hurry. So, take a rain check?
Yeah, and we can come by maybe on our way home.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, Tarnation, I'm sorry. I forgot that you guys had to get somewhere. Oh, here. Look, I'm sorry I kept your car for so long.
No, that's all right. We managed to keep ourselves busy.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, well, all right. Well, you know, I hope you catch that coyote who, stole the doll and set fire to your ranch.
Well, thank you very much. Hey, listen, you make sure you keep in touch with us. And we want to see pictures of your little girl, like right about Christmas time, huh?
You bet I will.
Oh, and give our best to Crystal, okay?
Yeah, she'll be looking forward to seeing you on TV.
TV?
Yeah, well, word gets around here pretty fast in the desert. And the community caught word of your delivering Crystal's baby, and they're very excited. So you better put on your best television smiles, huh?
Yeah, well, I tell you, just being around here has given us plenty of reason to smile. Thanks, Dooley.
All right. Bye con Diaz.
Oh, thank you.
Bye con Diaz.
Good luck, huh?
You too. Drive safe, huh?
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Why do you want to leave? What about the Ben Franklin papers? What about getting in the history books? What about my job? You know, if I do well, they might hire me at the Banner. Do you know how much that means to me?
Believe me, sweetheart, I'm taking you to a far, far, far better place which will make your photographic assignment at the Banner pale by comparison.
Dad,
Now, trust me, sweetheart, I have always known what is best for you, and I still do. Now, come on, come on, come on. Let's go.
Yes.
Your receptionist said you might still be here.
Gabrielle.
Could you spare me a few minutes of your time?
I can spare you 3 minutes, to be exact. I'm expected at home.
Good. But first of all, did you go and see a doctor about that dizzy spell you had at Ace's party?
No, I didn't. I felt much, much better the next day. Are you here to place an ad for the design showroom?
No, actually, I'm not. I'm here because the strangest thing happened to me. I really thought I should share it with you.
Is it a news item?
No, I don't think you'd want to run this one. I was at Barry's Bar and Grill having a glass of wine, and this man I'd never met before just started talking to me.
Gabrielle, that's hardly unusual. You're a beautiful woman. That must happen to you all the time.
No, this is quite different. He was obviously very drunk, and he started mumbling on about a terrible mistake he'd made and how he had to leave Lambview. I felt rather sorry for him, but I didn't want to get too involved with his problems.
But did you?
No. He finished his drink, paid his bill, and then rushed out. But as he was leaving, he dropped a photograph. I picked it up, ran after him, but he disappeared.
Well, did the bartender know him?
No, he didn't. And I thought about leaving the picture with the bartender in case the man came back. But then I looked at it, and I realized this man must have been a good friend of yours.
Why would you say that?
Because you're in the picture. I assumed you must be very good friends. Do you recognize him?
Oh, my God. That's Niki Smith. And Leo Cromwell.